back with part two.
Reaction too. I'm just like, everything about this is so fun. There's been a lot about really awkward talk shows nowadays, like the Lily Singh show and how bad that went and everything, but nothing compares to how bad this show is. Nothing compares to how awkward and horrible the Tyra show is. Here's another example of Tyra being kind of creepy to someone. She's having Bow Wow sit on her lap to explain the birds and the bees. If you ever fall in love with a woman and you want to rub your stem on her petals, you have to put on gardening gloves. Every single time. Especially after Tyra comments on Bow Wow's muscular, sexified body. And then she kisses him on the show, and he looks shocked. She feels a dude's butt on her show. It's not too big. Not too big. Stand on up. Let's see it. It's not too big. Turn up. Turn around. Turn around. Let's see. Turn this way. Very nice. She asks the guy if he's been practicing safe sex. So I have to ask you a question. But you're on my Tyra couch and there are no personal questions. Were you practicing safe sex? Yeah. Whatever gender you are, you should never feel pressured into answering anything about your sex life. Well, Mr. Elvis, you look hot to me. I like a little tummy and a little extra higher about the week. Mr. Elvis. Then Tyra pretends to have rabies. Apologize to everybody.
This is the part that's disgusting. Sorry, everybody.
Great. I jog a lot in my neighborhood, and I was jogging today with some friends around my neighborhood, and friggin' dog babies. Except
The fuck commercials?
Friggin' dog babies. Yeah, it bit me like right here, so it's like a little weird right now. I had to get rushed to the hospital, and then the doctors are like, "Well, did the dog look, like crazy or anything?" And I'm like, "Well, he was angry and he, was like salivating." And they're like, "Okay, was it like foamy salivating or was it?" And I'm like, "Well, it was kind of foamy." And then they tested me, and the dog has rabies and has to get a shot. Thank God it's not 20 years ago. If it was 20, 30 years ago, I would, be really, really bad. So I'm feeling a little weird, but I'm okay.
Look how she looking at like, what the fuck?
We're breaking you today! Start the show! Tyra, pray! She barked at the audience because she had rabies. What are you doing?
Being a dick. Let me tell you something, ladies. Again, I'm not knocking anybody that want to have fun, but the bizarreness with some people get away with. Come on now. But Michael Jackson, he was being canceled in a grave. Okay.
On some of the really shady, controversial things that Tyra Banks has done. But let's look at her latest business move and see how controversial that is. So Tyra Banks is planning to open up something called Model Land.
Now I got a question for y'all. And tell me if this gonna blow y'all away. If Tara Banks want to make a difference, but she want to open up Model Land. Okay. To answer this question, y'all, would y'all pay to get famous and rich, or does that make is that logic to play to get famous and rich? Especially if you're broke, if you barely have a penny to even make any cut.
America. You've got to see these pictures inside. So all you can say, gold, glitz and glamour galore. This is just the lobby. And if you want to get past it, you've got to splurge on a ticket. So buying a ticket will get you in a room like this. Here you do a photo shoot complete with its font, but there's no word yet whether or not she's actually there in person. And you leave the day.
I smell a rat with that.
So tickets are as cheap as $56.
Yeah, okay.
They go as high as $1,500 too. So the pricier ticket gets you a makeover, wardrobe changes, goodie bags, a robe, VIP seating, and it officially opens May the 1st. So, guys, would you ever drop money for such an experience? No. This is wide enough to know that my beauty is not defined by you.
Oh, shut your preacher, punk, drunken peasant ass up. You gonna try to preach to us where we should come? Why is it that everybody should be a model when you know damn well everybody's not gonna be accepted? You gonna say all age and all race and all that, when in reality, it's only less than 1% out of hell people can even make it to get whatever fame they want or whatever luxury. Hell, on the internet, some people could get but so far on YouTube and TikTok and others and so on. You was one of the ones that was blessed. So you gonna say or preach that people should support? Why am I gonna pay $56 when I could probably barely have $25? And then it's a chance in hell people like me and others could get it. And better yet, like when it comes to my arts, okay, if people support me, that's fine. If they don't, they still love me. So come on with the preacher and punkin ass you doing with the preacher with that bear looking lion with that lion. I mean with that lion mane breath with the milkshake that spilled on the breath while it's on your shirt at the same time. But it seems like you had too much wine with the preacher, even with the preacher. Please. Blah, 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 blah. She gonna get all history on it. Hypocrite. Hypocrite. But you tore down other women. Oh, fight my oppression, my ass. You're working with the oppression. Now, don't get me wrong. Me and this young lady, we're not saying that you haven't opened up doors for everybody. Because, yes, you have opened up doors for people that are sign language, for people that are trans, even though you shade them on your show. You gonna shade this one guy, forget what trans woman, like, what do he see in her? But remember, excuse my French, you're an N-word. And this is the thing with some of y'all black women that kill me, that some of y'all black men and women that kill me when y'all do make it. Y'all seem to forget that y'all are the N-words too. And you want this blonde hair that's not gonna fight back the pigment on your skin. So give me a break.
People feel like crap about themselves.
Yeah, but you made the crap out of people. People when they got on your show, whether they made it or not, they turned to drugs, they turned to psychological damage. Even with this history on it, you scream, and even when you faking on their show, they were shocked like what the hell. So be quiet. I'm not saying you gotta be all perfect because there's no such thing, but balance it out. Let's have some balance.
Condescending attitude. You could say that Model Land is the aftermath of Tyra seeing her wrongdoings in America's Next Top Model and all of her other following business ventures and trying to make up for it by creating this Model Land where everyone's beautiful and we all have the power to be a model and to be seen as accepted. But on a real note, modeling should not be the reason that you're accepted. It should just be for who you are. But in my opinion, modeling comes across as a sad effort to capitalize on the growing positive movement of loving yourself and accepting differences within one another and appreciating the beauty of all women. And that's what frustrates me about this entire endeavor. On the Model Land website, here's an excerpt called From Tyra about what Model Land is. From Tyra, imagine at a time in your life feeling insecure or full of self-doubt. Imagine questioning your self-worth because you don't look like what the world has told you is good enough. Is that someone you know? Is that you? I believe all shapes and all sizes and all ages and all shades deserve to feel beautiful, powerful, and experience the fantasy versions of themselves. So Tyra Banks literally goes from saying if you look a certain way, you're not beautiful, to being like, well, I lied about that. Anyone can be beautiful. All standards, all shapes and sizes. anything, but also buy my ticket to this thing. So it almost feels like the woman.
Now she's not tearing down Tyra Banks and all that. That's not what this is about, and I'm not. But don't sit here and gaslight Tyra Banks because that's what you're doing. You're gaslighting.
That she job. It's not a fantasy. The first of its kind, when there was a lot of different social understandings, would be wrong and unfair. But at the same time, I want to point
See,
out, Modelland
let me
itself
rewind
shows
that.
that she's researcher land, biochemist land. Why does it have to be model land? Tyra that were meant to tear down and put down women. You could say, like, people are so dramatic. That was in the past. Why are we making such a big deal out of it? Yes, it was in the past. I agree. So to hold Tyra Banks against her actions in the past, when there was a lot of different social understandings, would be wrong and unfair. But at the same time, I want to point out, Modelland itself shows that she's still using the same tactics that she's used in the past to make money. She started an MLM business that was to lift women up, but really just ended up stealing money from women and still hasn't spoken up about that. She put young women on America's Next Top Model through literal danger and torment. It wasn't just saying controversial things that are now controversial. There were dangerous things that she put young women through on her show and made millions off of doing so. We don't need another female figure doing the same, or for women to think that this is a legitimate way to build success, which is why it's so important to speak up about those things. And that's really all I have to say on this topic. I just wanted to talk about it just to spread awareness on it. I do wish Tyra all the best. I admire her for all the great things that she's done. I just wish that it didn't come with all of the bad things. Thank you guys for
Yeah,
the people that.
but yeah, this is not a shoot down. But you can't have it both ways, lady. You can't. All right, later.